Gets us right into today's Ask the Expert.
Vaccinations are really important for kids heading back to school, and they are in close contact with one another. Germs spread quickly.
Yep, Dr. Brian Baer, he's an obstetrician and gynecologist, joining us live this afternoon. But I'm sure you could also talk about vaccinations as well. What is new in immunizations that we may not remember from when we had the needles put in our arms?
Well, I think it's a great topic at this time of year because children and young adults are all going back to school and they're seeing their doctors before they go. And what's important is that it's a good time of year to do this because we know that if people get updated on their vaccines, it improves their immunity to almost 100%, especially with a booster shot.
Can children get diseases from vaccines? I know this is one of the big controversies out there. People do not have their kids vaccinated because they fear the vaccine more than they do the disease the kid can get if they don't get the vaccine.
If it's an inactivated virus, it's irradiated and they can't, it's virtually impossible to get the disease. But there are live viruses that we give to kids and they will have some symptoms such as fever and some minor aches and pains, but this is showing that the vaccine is actually working, so it's a good thing.
Okay.
Now, any correlation, a rise in autism diagnosis as a result of vaccines, people talk about that so often, but really the majority of doctors feel vaccines are a good thing for children.
Absolutely, and the age-old question about autism and the cause, and there's no data that actually supports that. It's felt by most doctors that it's either genetic or environmental, but in our pregnant women, we do avoid preservatives and vaccines just to try and avoid even having to have that discussion, because it's felt that some of the preservatives are mercury-laden and can cause problems.
Is that an option for kids too? If a parent wants to avoid the preservatives in the vaccines, they can ask for a preservative-free?
They can ask, absolutely.
Okay. What are the big vaccines you want to get done before you head off to school?
Well, certainly we talk about
MMR was the one I always remember.
Well, that's measles, mumps, and rubella, but right now for most kids it's ages 9 to 26 for the HPV or Gardasil vaccine.
Okay.
And also pertussis, we want to get people updated because there's been a lot of pertussis the last few years, so we recommend a Tdap. And it's important to talk to your pediatrician or doctor about that. And lastly, as we know, kids are in close quarters, so any athletes or college-bound kids should think about meningococcus vaccine so they can avoid that disease because that can be very difficult to overcome.
Okay, now you mentioned the Gardasil vaccine. We just did a story yesterday about a 12-year-old girl dying a few hours after she had gone to a routine doctor's appointment, got the first round of the HPV vaccine. No correlation yet to her death as far as the coroner or, anything parents need to worry about there?
Well, I almost fell off my chair when I saw the story. No parent wants to have something like that happen, but we've known for years the HPV vaccine has a great history. It's one of the safest vaccines ever. So my recommendation would be to wait and find out what the cause of death was before making any judgments. And as always, talk to your physician about what vaccines are good for you.
All right, have a question for any of our experts, including Dr. Baer, send an email to asktheexpert@tmj4.com. If you'd like, you can leave a voicemail. The number is right there on your screen.